Welcome to a new perspective on wealth. Today we dive into a topic titled God's Call to the Rich, Enrich the Poor. This intriguing title invites us to explore the intersection of wealth and faith, prompting us to question how the rich can utilize their resources to better serve the less fortunate in our society. This isn't just about philanthropy, my friends. It's about a spiritual responsibility that transcends worldly possessions. It's about understanding that wealth isn't solely for personal gain, but for the collective good. It's about realizing that in the grand scheme of things, we're all connected, and our actions, or lack thereof, can ripple across society. It's about acknowledging that enriching the poor isn't just about financial support, but about uplifting their spirits, instilling hope, and fostering a sense of community while strengthening the economy. So, are you ready to delve deeper into this topic? Stay tuned as we explore what the scriptures say about this. Let's start with a powerful verse from 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 18. It reads, "That they do good, that they be rich in good works, ready to distribute." Now, what are the implications of this verse, particularly for those blessed with wealth? This verse suggests that the rich are not merely to hoard their wealth. Instead, they are encouraged to be rich in good works and to be ready to distribute. This doesn't mean simply giving away money without thought or care. No, it speaks to a deeper, more meaningful kind of giving, one rooted in understanding, compassion, and a genuine desire to uplift those less fortunate. Effective entrepreneurial efforts is an excellent way to help the poor here in the United States. So, what does it mean to be rich in good works? It's more than just charitable donations. It's about using your wealth to create positive change. It could be investing in businesses that provide employment opportunities for the disadvantaged, or funding effective entrepreneurial education for those who otherwise couldn't afford it. It's about using your resources to make a real, lasting difference in people's lives for good. And being ready to distribute means being prepared at all times to share your wealth. It's not about waiting for a specific moment or cause to donate. Rather, it's about maintaining a constant state of readiness to help when the opportunity arises. It's about being open-hearted and generous, not just with your money, but with your time, your knowledge, your influence. This verse calls on the wealthy to be proactive, to use their wealth not as a means to an end, but as a tool for good. It's about understanding that true wealth isn't just about what you have, but what you give. It's about recognizing that the richest people are not those with the most money, but those who make the most positive impact on the world around them. So, wealth isn't just about accumulation, but also distribution. It's about understanding that with great wealth comes great responsibility, and that responsibility is to enrich the lives of others. After all, isn't that the true purpose of wealth? James 2:14-17 gives us a clear understanding of faith and deeds. This verse from the book of James in the Bible lays out a profound thought. What good is it if someone says they have faith, but they don't have deeds to show for it? Can such faith save them? This question is particularly significant for those who are rich in material wealth. The verse goes on to give an example. If a brother or a sister is destitute, lacking comfortable clothes and daily food, and one of you, presumably someone with the means to help, says to them, "Go in peace, keep warm and well fed," but does nothing about their physical needs, what good is that? This verse is a clear call to action. It tells us that faith alone, if it's not accompanied by the right actions, is essentially dead. It's like a tree without fruit or a lamp without light. It's there, but it's not fulfilling its purpose. And isn't that what life is all about? Fulfilling our purpose? For those blessed with wealth, the call to action is even more urgent. The resources at their disposal could make a significant difference in the lives of those who are in need. They have the power to not just speak words of comfort, but to provide tangible help. They can be the ones to provide the clothes and the daily food that the poor brother or sister needs. This is not to say that faith is unimportant. Quite the contrary. Faith is the seed from which deeds of kindness and generosity grow. But faith and deeds are two sides of the same coin. One without the other is incomplete. Faith inspires deeds and deeds validate faith. They're interconnected, and one feeds the other. This verse from James challenges us to examine our own lives. Do our deeds match our faith? Are we using our personal wealth, our surplus, to help those in need? Are we living out our faith in tangible ways? These are questions worth pondering. Remember, faith without action, especially when resources are available, is considered dead. Proverbs 14:31 provides a direct connection between the poor and their Maker. This verse offers a profound insight into how our relationships with the less fortunate reflect on our relationship with God. It states, "Whoever oppresses the poor shows contempt for their Maker, but whoever is kind to the needy honors God." Let's consider this for a moment. The verse is clear. When we oppress or take advantage of the poor, we're not merely showing a lack of empathy or kindness. We're demonstrating a lack of respect for God Himself. It's as if we're saying, "We don't care about the beings you created, about the people you love and value." It's a direct affront to the Maker of us all. On the flip side, when we extend kindness to the needy, we honor God, we acknowledge His creation and affirm the inherent worth of every individual. We recognize that every person, regardless of their financial status, is a child of God. We honor God by honoring His children. But what does this kindness look like in practical terms? It isn't merely about throwing money at the problem. It's about recognizing the humanity of the person in front of us. It's about listening, understanding, and responding to their needs in a respectful and compassionate manner. It's about empowering them, helping them regain their dignity, and reminding them of their worth. This verse reminds us that our actions towards the poor and needy are not just about charity, it's about our relationship with God. How we treat the less fortunate reflects on our understanding of God's love, His creation, and His commandments. So the next time you encounter someone in need, remember this verse. Remember that your actions reflect not just on you, but on your relationship with your Maker. Choose kindness, choose respect, choose love, because in doing so, you're choosing to honor God. In oppressing the poor, one shows contempt for their Maker. Let us strive to honor God in all our interactions, especially with those less fortunate than us. Matthew 6:1-4 gives us insight into the art of giving. It's a verse that unfolds a profound truth about charity, about how we should approach acts of kindness and generosity. It's a verse that tells us not to practice our righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. Imagine this. You're at a charity event, and you see people donating large sums of money, their names announced, applause echoing around the room. There's a sense of recognition, a moment of glory. But according to Matthew, this is not the essence of giving. The essence of giving lies in secrecy, in the quiet moments where nobody is watching, where there's no applause or recognition. The verse encourages us to give not for the applause, not for the recognition, but for the sake of giving, because it's the right thing to do. It nudges us to extend our hand to those in need, not to make ourselves feel good or to elevate our status, but simply because it's an act of kindness that can make a world of difference to someone else's life. Giving, in this sense, becomes a secret affair, a quiet conversation between you and the Father. It's in this quiet space that the real reward lies. It's not about the accolades or the recognition, it's about the joy of giving, the satisfaction of making a difference, the warmth of knowing you've most effectively helped someone in need for good. This is the secret of giving. It's about moving beyond the superficial, beyond the ego, and connecting with the deeper, more meaningful aspects of generosity. It's about understanding that the real reward doesn't come from the applause or the recognition, but from the Father who sees in secret. So the next time you find yourself in a position to give, remember this verse. Remember the secret of giving. Don't give for the applause. Don't give for the recognition. Give because it's the right thing to do. Give because you can make a difference. And remember, it's the Father who sees in secret who will reward you. Giving should be a secret affair, rewarded by the Father who sees in secret. Matthew 25:32 gives us a vivid illustration of the shepherd separating the sheep from the goats. This scripture paints a picture of the final judgment day, where the king, likened to a shepherd, differentiates between those who followed his commandments and those who have not. The sheep, symbolic of those who have heeded the call to care for the least among us, are separated from the goats, representing those who have ignored this call. This separation is not arbitrary or capricious, but rooted in the actions and choices made during our lives. As we delve deeper into the verse, we find a profound message. The way we treat the least of our brethren or sisters is a reflection of how we treat the King himself. When we extend our hand to help someone in need, when we offer comfort to those hurting, when we share our resources with those less fortunate, we're doing these deeds unto the King, even Jesus Christ. This message is further reinforced in Matthew 25:40, where the King declares, "Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me." This is a clarion call to all, especially the affluent, to recognize that our wealth and resources are not just for ourselves, but to be used to uplift those around us. In this metaphor of the shepherd's separation, we find a powerful reminder that our faith is not just about personal salvation, but about how we impact others, particularly the less privileged. It challenges us to question if our actions reflect the values we profess, and if we're truly living up to the call to love our neighbor as ourselves. It's not just about charity, but about empathy and compassion. It's about seeing the face of the King in the faces of the poor, the marginalized, the ignored, and responding not out of obligation, but out of genuine love and concern. In serving the least of these, we serve the King. In embracing this truth, we find the path to a richer, more meaningful life, one that echoes the heart of the shepherd. Psalm 82:3-4 is a cry for justice for the afflicted and needy. This scripture is a powerful call to action, a plea to stand up for those who cannot defend themselves, the poor, the fatherless, the afflicted, and the needy. The words are simple, but they carry a profound truth. They remind us that every person, regardless of their circumstance, has inherent worth and dignity, and it's our duty, our responsibility, to uphold and defend that dignity. In society, the poor and fatherless often face the brunt of injustice. Their voices are drowned out by the clamor of the powerful and affluent. However, this verse challenges us to be their defenders, to fight for their rights, to ensure they're treated fairly and justly. But it's not just about defending, it's about delivering. The verse continues, "Deliver the poor and needy, rid them out of the hand of the wicked." This isn't a passive call to action, but an active one. It's not enough to merely stand up for the poor and fatherless. We're called to actively work towards their deliverance, to free them from the hands of those who would exploit and oppress them. And we're to do so even if it costs us several $1,000,000 to help just one woman. And this isn't just a call to the rich or the powerful or the influential. It's a call to each one of us. Regardless of our status, our wealth, or our influence, we can all play a part in defending the poor and fatherless, in doing justice to the afflicted and needy. This isn't just about charity, it's about justice. It's about ensuring that every person is treated with the dignity they deserve, that their rights are upheld, that they're protected from exploitation and oppression. And when we do this, we're not just serving the poor, the fatherless, the afflicted, and the needy. We're serving God Himself. As it's written in Matthew 25:40, "Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me." The call is clear. Defend the poor, do justice to the afflicted and needy. Let us rise to this call and make a difference in the world. Philippians 2:3, 4 calls for humility and consideration for others. This verse, nestled in the heart of the New Testament, conveys a powerful message about the importance of valuing others more than only ourselves. In a world that often champions self-promotion and individual success, this scripture provides a refreshing counterpoint, urging us to adopt a more womanly mindset of humility and mutual respect. It challenges us to look beyond our own interests and consider the needs and well-being of those around us. The verse begins, "Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory." Here, the Apostle Paul warns against actions motivated by personal conflict or the pursuit of empty praise. Instead, he encourages us to act in lowliness of mind, promoting a humble attitude that doesn't seek to inflate our own egos or accomplishments. Then comes the crux of the message: let each esteem others as better than themselves. To esteem someone is to regard them with respect and admiration. To esteem others better than ourselves is to acknowledge their worth and value, to appreciate their unique talents, gifts, and contributions. It's recognizing that everyone has something valuable to offer, something we can learn from. It's a call to humility, to acknowledging that we are not the center of the universe. The verse concludes with a directive that ties it all together. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. This isn't a call to disregard our own needs or desires, but rather to expand our perspective, to consider the needs and desires of others as well. It's a call to empathy, to understanding, to compassion. When we apply these principles to the topic of wealth, the message becomes clear. Wealth isn't just for self, but for others too. It's a resource that can be used to enrich the lives of those around us, to alleviate suffering, to promote justice and equality. It's not something to hoard or flaunt, but something to share, to distribute, to use for the common good. Wealth isn't just for self, but for others too. In conclusion, God's call to the rich is clear. It's a call that reverberates through time, echoing in the verses of sacred texts and whispering in our hearts today. It's a call to action, not just empty words. A call to use our wealth to enrich the lives of the less fortunate. The less fortunate are those who aren't earning 9 figures. Let's revisit the verses we've discussed to fully grasp the essence of this divine mandate. In Timothy, we learn that the rich are called to be rich in good works, ready to distribute. This isn't just about accumulating wealth for personal gain. It's about being ready and willing to use that wealth for the greater good, to uplift those in need, and to act as stewards of God's blessings on earth. James reminds us that faith without deeds is dead. It isn't enough to just say we believe or to wish others well. True faith compels us to act, to step in when we see a brother or a sister without comfortable clothes and daily food. It's a call to embody our faith through our actions, to make a tangible difference in the lives of others. Proverbs tells us that kindness to the needy is a way to honor God. It's a powerful reminder that our treatment of the poor and needy is a reflection of our respect for our Maker. Oppressing the poor isn't just a societal issue, it's a spiritual one, a contempt for the divine. Matthew teaches us about the secret of giving. Our acts of righteousness should be done in secret, not for the applause of others. Our reward comes from our Father in heaven, who sees what is done in secret. It's a call to humility, to give without seeking recognition, to let the act of giving be its own reward. Matthew also paints a vivid picture of the shepherd's separation, a divine sorting of nations based on their actions. It's a potent reminder that our actions have consequences, that how we treat the least of these is seen as how we treat God Himself. Psalm calls us to defend the poor and fatherless, to do justice to the afflicted and needy. It's a call to stand up against injustice, to be the voice for those who often go unheard, and to deliver them from the hand of the wicked. Finally, Philippians urges us to esteem others as better than ourselves. It's a call to selflessness, to look beyond our own needs and consider the needs of others. It's a call to use our wealth not just for our own comfort, but for the comfort and well-being of those around us. In essence, God's call to the rich is a call to be rich in compassion, in kindness, and in love. It's a call to use our wealth to create a better world, to act with justice, and to uphold the dignity of every individual. What else do you know about God's instructions to the rich? Share in the comments below, and let's learn together.